There are two main sources of inspiration which explain why we work the way we do at Enrich. One is the positive focus that we have, and the other is the experiential approach we take to the work. The positive focus is really about choosing where you place your focus in your daily work and in the development stuff that you're doing. You can choose to spend your time firefighting or problem solving, going from one problem to the next and trying to fix this and trying to fix that. Or you can choose to focus on the strengths that are already in place and the things that you are doing well right now. And you might find that by focusing on your strengths and the things that you're doing well and building on those, that actually the problems will start to disappear of their own accord. And it's not a new idea. Over 600 years ago, Erasmus was basically making the same point when he said, "Give light and the darkness will disappear of itself." But it's important to recognize that a positive focus doesn't just mean being positive about everything. It's not about running around with your thumb up saying, that's great, everything's great, we're all perfect, and kidding yourself. It's important to be honest and upfront about performance levels, and it's okay to acknowledge that things aren't going well. What we say is that if you find that things aren't going well, then in the ruins of your endeavours, it should be possible to find one or two positive things that you can highlight and start to build on. So we're perfectly willing to talk about problems if those could be a critical barrier to performance. But what we believe fundamentally is that whilst we're willing to deal with problems and be honest and direct in the feedback we give to customers, in general, your greatest potential for growth can be found by focusing on your strengths and the things that you are doing well already. I think this approach to working has become more and more popular in the last 10 to 15 years, and there's a lot of different ways of doing this, or different slants on it. I think we've mostly been influenced by the positive psychology movement, which I think there are two really great fundamental questions here. One you could say is, well, what's going right with people? Rather than playing the psychologist's role of saying what's going wrong with people, it's just asking the question, what goes right with people when people function well? And another great fundamental question in the area of positive psychology is just saying, well, what is it that causes individuals, organizations and societies for that matter to thrive? What is it that makes these individuals and organizations thrive? And that really underpins a lot of the work that we do. But I do find that this has been an emerging theme again and again in the last 15 years where I've been working. And right back in the mid-90s, when I was working with young people with severe behavioural problems, we would use an approach called positive affirmation. And that was basically just focusing on the good behaviour when the young people did behave well and did interact well, and rewarding them with attention and praise there, rather than spending time highlighting bad behaviour and drawing attention there by punishing people and telling them off. Choosing where you place your focus and choosing to focus on the positive, it actually, even in young people with severe behaviour problems, produced fantastic results. So it has been a recurrent theme in a lot of the work that I've done, both with youth and with executives. The other major area that we draw inspiration from is experiential education. And this is really about getting hands-on and doing it, learning by doing. Now, there are lots of different approaches to this, or possible explanations. Kolb's learning cycle is one of the very well-known explanations of maybe how experiential learning can work. We take a lot of inspiration from Kurt Hahn. His personal motto, "There's more in you than you think," sums up some of the great experiences we have with customers, where you can actually see a participant on a course achieve something which they themselves hadn't thought they were capable of. And that's a wonderful psychological breakthrough for them to achieve, and a fantastic thing for us to share with the customer. A real pleasure and an honour. And this idea isn't new either, actually. Over 2,000 years ago, Confucius supposedly is quoted to have said something along the lines of, "If I hear, I'll forget. If I see, I'll remember. But if I do, then I'll understand." And there are some things that it's fair enough to learn in a more traditional way. There are some things which do lend themselves well to lecture and PowerPoint and book learning and so on, and that's fine. It's not everything that should be taught in a hands-on experiential way. But if you think about a lot of the types of things we work with, leadership, behaviour, people's values and so on, the way that people interact in a team. A lot of these issues, it's very hard to learn them on a purely cognitive level. It's important to get active and interactive and learn them on a behavioural and sometimes on an emotional level as well. So that the experiential approach together with the positive focus, they really go to the heart of our philosophy at Enrich and why we work the way we do.